Welcome to CCRPG, where we open up our virtual table and play games with some good friends. I'm Bob, and I'll be running Lancer, an RPG by Miguel Lopez and Tom Parkinson-Morgan. You can find it at Massive Press on itch.io. It has been 1 year since the situation at Jakafy System. In that time, the DBC Crew have been trying to keep a low profile to avoid reprisal by the recently scorned Manticorp. They've made new contacts, run minor jobs, and kept out of the core systems. We return to the players today in the midst of a crew meeting. Hello, players.
Hello.
My God.
Who said that?
It is I, the computer.
Oh no!
The ship AI has become sentient. I knew this was a matter of time.
We are starting today. You are all on the DBC, and you are in the meeting room, the ops room. We've seen you guys here a couple of times. It's the one that has one of those like holographic table setups on it for various display work and coordination and presentation. And as far as you're all aware, Torsay has called you all here today to kind of have like the regular like weekly crew meeting.
Okay.
Okay, look, if we're finally going to talk about it, someone's been eating my tuna. And I know it's one of you people in this room because there's no one else on the ship.
CHIMERA, are you Evelene, are you sure we can afford tuna? I thought tuna was expensive.
Look, I bought a lot in bulk last year, and it's been lasting that long.
Last year?
It's not real tuna.
I thought it was that fake tuna made out of soybeans or whatever.
Is that like the fake crab?
I mean,
sort of.
Yes, but I don't like to think about that. I like to pretend it's real tuna.
Well, good. I'm glad you're all minded for stretching out our resources, because that is what we have to talk about today. Now, you all know that our last job was a bit of a bust since we didn't get paid. That's really hurt us. So I think this will help if I give you something visual. She pulls up on the holographic table a graph. It's a line graph, and she's like, okay, so this is where we were a year and a half ago. And she just plots a point on the line. She goes, this is, remember when we did that guard mission for Terratella, and then we got back and they didn't pay us quite as much as they were supposed to? That's when we were here, and she points at a point slightly below that on the line. And as she's doing this, the graph is automatically updating and like tracing a line between those and filling the area under the curve up as she's doing the graph.
I raised my hand.
Yes, Rock.
I'm going to make an assumption here, but down is bad.
Down is less resources. Yeah, so yeah, she draws with her finger a line at the bottom of the graph, and it turns red. And she's like, if we go below this line, we can't afford the ship anymore.
That sounds really bad.
So
Yes.
That.
That's a very astute observation, Astro.
So after we did the mission for Ren, we got a lot of resources, and she points at a point slightly above where the other 2 points were. And now it looks like the whole graph is going up. And it's like, that was great. You know, Ren gave us a lot to work with, and we were in a good place. And then we took that mission, where we were supposed to go to the Jakafy System for Manticorp. And we decided not to do their job. And I agree with you. That was probably a good choice. So anyway, we got all the money from that. And at that point, we were here. And she points a point on the line graph that is, again, down a little bit. Now,
I don't suppose Ren has more jobs.
So here's some extra news. Ren has sent us a message. They have responded to the last message we sent to them. Remember that message you recorded for Ren, Astro?
Sure do.
All right. Well, I'll play that after this very important presentation.
Oh no!
Ooh,
What did you say, Astro?
exciting.
So,
Nothing bad.
over the last year, we've been doing various odd jobs like smuggling and acquiring and various things. And then she just starts poking a bunch of different points on the graph that goes up a little, down a little, up a little, down a little, up a little, down a little.
I'm going to scroll over to Dyne. Acquiring is a good use of word for that.
You'll notice that the up a little, down a little she's doing is trending downwards consistently, though. So while it goes up and down, it's really just drawing a line going down. And she goes, oh, and then there was the fuel crisis, and then we had to pay like triple for all our fuel, and then she points at a point way lower than the rest of the points. And then she goes, and then we didn't get paid for this last job. And then she points one final point on the line that's maybe about an inch above the red line.
I see where this is going. Oh, you, Torsay, you dog, you. You want us to take a hiatus so I could get back in the showbiz and make some money.
Astro,
She
you're a
turns.
dumbass.
Still blacklisted?
She looks at Astro, turns away from Astro to just the other three, and talking only to them, draws a line from that last dot to down below the red line. This is where we'll be 3 weeks from now if we don't get a good score.
Astro's just talking to himself. He's like, imagine my comeback. Fans will go crazy.
I'll walk around the desk and just slap Astro on the back of his head. Focus.
Ouch!
Okay, so maybe it's time we take a riskier job, like I've been saying.
That's what I was worried about, too. So all the little odd jobs we've been doing have been keeping the lights on, but we haven't exactly been thriving, and, you know, not having a reliable source for fuel and repairs and having to outsource some work. It's been just a downward trend this whole time. And I'm afraid if we don't start getting back out there for real again, this isn't going to last for much longer.
Well, assuming you don't want me to make a bunch of money off a new blockbuster movie, you have any ideas what we could do?
Torsay crosses her arms and looks sternly at you.
Astro,
I don't
could you-
suppose
could-
you've repaired your relationship with Terratella, have you?
Well, I was hoping you might have like some magical idea to fix all that.
She just puts her hand over her eyes.
So I think it's safe to say that we can rule out most of the big, if not all of the big corpos, because one, I don't really want to, and two, they've talk.
I mean, there's got to be someone with a grudge with Manticorp, right?
I mean, there are
they can't all
plenty,
be
but
buddy-buddy.
by risky, I don't think it's a good idea for us to take missions that directly antagonize the corporation we just pissed off.
Yeah,
They already
that's
hate
kinda-
us.
That doesn't mean we can't take missions against them, but maybe not directly and direct antagonize them.
All right. You got a point.
To be honest, I already thought we kind of declared war on them after what we did. Thankfully, it didn't for whatever reason. And if we did missions against them with their competitors, then, well, that sure as hell would be declaring war. And I don't want to be at war.
If we have a target painted on our back, I am happy to let that fade as much as possible.
Yeah, it's been long enough that I feel like at least they're not actively trying to search and destroy us. So that's a good thing. I don't want to start that all over again.
All right, well, I might have some ideas. I could ask around, see if we can get a job or two, maybe.
I
Good.
can call in my contact with Tor. He helped us lay low when we were trying to hide from Manticore. Maybe he has a job or two.
I might know a girl.
Well, whatever
Well-
you all can piece together and figure out, I'll forward you the necessary information on what our projections look like so that you know the range of job we have to take.
All right. I think we already saw the graph. I mean, if we want an accurate projection of where our finances are going, I can drop this cup over the side of the table. So I don't think you need to waste the time.
I think we'd all be amused to see this recording that Astro sent, though.
Oh, I didn't back it up. I just have Ren's response.
I'm sure he left the script around somewhere.
It was very professional. I probably do have the script somewhere.
Oh no!
Let's be fair. Our current prospects are lower than the ratings of Astro's final movie.
Ooh, ouch.
Oh, wow!
A2, Brute. Ouch.
How long did you have that one under your hat, Jeremy?
Astro places his hand over his breast in mock, offense, betrayal.
You wooed me.
Let's be fair, Astro. You've had some ups and downs. That one was not very good.
Yeah, well, all the more reason my comeback is going to be stupendous.
Well,
I just need to start.
Your comeback is going to have to wait for us to get out of the red.
All right,
Yeah,
well, I'm going to go reach out to my contacts then.
Oh, before you go, let me just go ahead and set up Ren's message. All right, here we go. All right, this is from Ren out at Eos. She walks over to the other side of the desk and clicks a button, and a holographic projection of Ren appears on the table. They are like a miniaturized version of themselves, and they are talking to whatever, camera is digitally recording them. Hello, it's good to hear from you, and to answer your first question, no, I don't have any jobs for you out in the periphery right now. But I was able to find something for you. Astro, you did say you could use someone to help out with the ship and that maintenance was starting to get away from you. Well, I have an acquaintance out your way who has ship tech training. I owe him a favor, and he did say he wants to travel around more. Sounds like a good deal for all of us, so let's just call this one even. If you find yourselves back this way, there's always a hangar open for you. I'll leave his contact info and location in the data stream. They lean in close to the recording. Don't make me look bad. They smile, and then the message ends.
Oh, that was the first mistake, I think, already.
You heard her, Astro. Or you heard them, Astro. Don't make them look bad.
I would never Ren look bad. Well, that's great news. We could really use extra pair of hands. Question is, will we be able to afford them with the way things are going now?
That is the question.
And that is a good question.
About looking good or bad here, then should we be hiding our financial situation?
Well, we shouldn't be openly sharing it, that's for sure.
I mean, we're going to take a pay cut, I guess, if we want to, probably could use a technician.
All right, who's all in favor of Astro's pay getting cut first?
I raise my hand.
Hey, well, whatever I need to do for the team.
Alrighty. So
I'll make it all back in my next movie.
I guess we should plot our course to pick up this person and on the way figure out a job.
All right, I'll pull up the data stream here. Okay. Yeah, I have a location and contact information. Name Curry Septemberish.
Curry Septemberish? All right.
All right.
Is that
well,
literally spelled September with an ish at the end?
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think might as well. If we're going under anyway, we might as well have someone on board that can keep the ship in good shape while it happens.
Hey, I've been doing an okay job. Don't
You have, but I mean, you would probably enjoy someone looking after the ship, so you could just tinker around with your mech all day.
Well, I mean, you say tinker with my mech. I'm also keeping everyone else's mechs up and going.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yeah, don't you remember? Well, actually, you didn't hire me to be a repair the mechs, but you clearly don't know how to do a good job yourself. So,
I think we all agree that we've been a little understaffed. I think that this is a good move, especially since when larger repairs to the ship are needed, we won't necessarily have to pay as much at a black market parts dealer as maybe we have a lot this year.
Exactly. It's an investment.
Yeah, that hole was really hard to patch up.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Sure. At least it's not happened again since. I've made sure of that.
Thank goodness. All right, well, let's set in a course then.
All right, well, we're going to be on the float for a while, so I guess everyone just keep everyone else in up to date on what we've reached out for and what we've been able to locate in terms of our next job on the horizon, I guess.
3 weeks is a long time.
If we really need, Astro or I could reach out to CDD. It's just, it's a little bit more unsure what we'll get back.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to head off and reach out to my contact and hope.
So,
all right, well, keep us informed.
So, Astro, just to get you in the loop here, CDD, she called you out for that because that is one of the kind of groups that you've worked with over the past year that only you and Torsay would have had any dealings with.
Okay.
Because they are basically a hacker collective. Their acronym is CDD, but a lot of people just call them SID. And no one knows what the acronym stands for. A lot of people have theories about what the acronym is. Torsay fiddles around trying to figure out what the acronym is, but there's no official thing. And the problem with CDD is people just say they're a part of it, but no one really knows. There's not like official membership. It's just like a group of people who say that they're part of that group. So you can like reach out to them for trade and things like techniques and tips and doing jobs to get them access to things. And you've done that once or twice over this past year, some small time things. Okay. But you know that there are bigger things out there. So that's one of the avenues of follow up you have available to you, Astro.
So if they could be like a client, what sort of jobs would we expect from them? Like,
here's the problem: is CDD is basically a group of individuals, right?
Yeah.
Like, it depends on who's reaching out to, like, who you're able to find needs something done.
Gotcha.
Anyone in that group could be working completely for their own self-benefit, but there have been some notable points in the last few decades where, like, a lot of people at CDD or SID like worked together all at once to make big things happen. Like completely shut down like corporate infrastructure for a few days and stuff like that. Like some big like blackout events and some big what are they called? I keep wanting to say datasphere, but that's not a real word. What's database? Database is the word I'm trying to come up with.
Yeah.
There's been like some huge database hacks that have like recontextualized ownership and borders of various systems and stuff. So like they can get together in force and make big things happen, but that's the rarity.
Gotcha.
All right, so you all kind of file out of the meeting room. Torsay says goodbye to everyone because she's been up all night on the computer working, and she's going to bed. But yeah, it's like you're in mid-space, like you're on whatever schedule you want to be. It's just Torsay's been up for over 12 hours, so she's going to go hang out somewhere and relax for a little bit.
She spent all night working on that graph to make it astro-proof.
It was a very impressive space PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, so what do you guys do?
Plot in the course that I was given, and then...
Yeah. Totally, yeah. Rock, you head up to the pilot seat. You guys have gotten into a cadence of basically hovering at the edge of systems so that, like, if need be, you can always punch it to, like, warp to a system over if you ever need to make a hot escape, only venturing down gravity well unless you have, like, need to, or you need supplies or going somewhere. But you spend a lot of time kind of in between system, like, traveling and being on the float to like get from place to place.
Alrighty then.
All right, so this time is basically up to you. What do you guys want to accomplish?
I would like to reach out to my my contact, see if he has any better jobs.
Okay, yeah, totally. You can do that. So how are you reaching out to them?
Well, I assume that I probably have some sort of direct connection, like direct way to call him directly due to our most recent interaction. Like after I had to call him to help us lay low to begin with. So I'd probably call him or send him a message directly.
Yeah. So you can, if like time is of the essence, you can do a real-time call. If time is not of the essence, you can send a message and then wait for a response. You do know that unless you're in the same system as someone, the direct call costs them serious money.
About how long do we have till we reach our destination then?
You have 4 days.
4 days?
Yep.
So I would send a message basically saying something along the lines of, hey, we're looking out for any slightly riskier jobs. Do you have anything available that we can take? And then after I send that out, I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm gonna wait.
All right, so that is your reach out to your contact. So he's going to take a look at what you sent him and see where we're going from there. And what are the rest of you guys doing to start off?
I'm probably going to do something similar, as in I'm going to reach out to a contact, just sending a message in the same way, to see if we can get any, jobs or anything.
Gotcha. All right. And what kind of message do you say? Like, what do you put in your message, Evelene?
So Evelene's going to send a message to our part supplier, Honora Caliban. Basically, we haven't really talked about too much, just because I feel like Astro's the kind of person who says, like, he doesn't really care where the parts come from. He's just like, oh, we got parts still, though. We're good. But we've had to cut some corners and get some parts from less reputable dealers. So Honora is sort of a black market arms dealer that's been secretly supplying us with our parts to repair the mechs. So I will send her a message to the effect of, hey, it's your favorite customer. Look, I'm going to come clean. We need some. We're looking for some work, and I think we're not too picky at this point because we're a little bit running low. So, like, is there anything that you might have heard, through the grapevine that'd be helpful here? And keep in mind that if we go out of business, you have one less customer.
All right. Yeah. So you send out your hurried message to Honora. And
hey Bob, Can I add one thing to my message? It's not really about the job, but basically I would say I would put in the identity of the people we worked with before and tell him to put them on the blacklist to not work for them because they don't fulfill their end of contracts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big no-no. So it's a funny thing. There are a few like larger underworld factions that it's a big no-no to like not do job, like to not like complete your end of the bargain with them. And they're known for, as long as you do what they ask, they will pay you, right? But they all have like sections of the scum and villainy that they kind of control and are like lords over, right? So you kind of are getting in bed with them a little bit to work for them. The other risk you take, though, is working for independents out here, acquiring things or doing jobs for independents who sometimes just disappear by the time you get back from the job, you know? So like people come out to the periphery to get lost, right? It's not hard to do out here. So unless you're working with some of the larger forces at play here who are kind of like sedimentary because of their size, and you can always track down representatives for them, some of the smaller operators out here get by basically just by grifting people, you know? So like that seems like what you got on the bad end of this time.
Yeah, I Dyne figures that, but he still feels the need to let his contact know, like, these people, they're that type, don't work with them.
Yeah, Tar is the type of person who would basically make that known amongst all his associates, right? Like, he's the kind of person who's trying to bring a sense of, like, you know, do what you say you're gonna do out here. So yeah, he's you know this from him specifically, your entire crew, because when you first were hiding from Manticorp, he was the one who provided you a bit of shielding and sanctuary. And when he started giving you jobs to like prove yourselves to him, it was made very important to like all of you that you do what you say and you say what you do, and if you don't, your reputation is tarnished. But that doesn't count for the megacorps because everyone out here hates them. So they actually find it kind of funny that you piss them off. Some of them more than others, but a lot of them think that it's like so there's like I said, there's a space pirate faction called the Free Space Pact, who, as a mark of honor, some of their crews will specifically target Corpro ships and shipments to basically like stick it to them, even though they're largely outgunned in a lot of those situations.
All right, that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah,
that
you
was
send
important.
that out. Absolutely. How about COMET or Rock?
I would actually like to look into our new crew member, September-ish, and see what kind of information, what previous jobs they might have been on. Is it a he or she or they?
He, him.
Okay. Yeah, so I would like to look into like his work experience, stuff like that. Just see if I can glean some info about him.
Yeah, totally. Okay. COMET, Mr. Astro. I'm gonna need you to make me a pilot check to see what you can find.
Sure. All right. Let's get that up. Let's see what kind of. I'm trying to remember my skills. I have investigate. Maybe investigate.
Yeah, it's probably the most likely one.
Yeah. I'm not going to be hacking into his computer or anything, so I won't use hacker fix. I'm just going to
unless
if this doesn't go well, we may consider another course of action. I don't think anything else really applies here, so I'll roll with investigate.
Right.
So that's going to be a +2. I rolled a 10.
A 10. So a 10 is a success. You didn't wait to see if it was risky or if it had difficulty or it's okay.
So excited.
Yeah, so excited to make the first roll of the game.
Success.
But yes, so a 10 is a success. It was a standard pilot check. You did succeed, so you were able to get a hold of basically you're able to get a hold of his like core transcript. It basically is all of his experience and what he did that is like well documented in like the we had a name for this. Guys, we had a name for it. What was it?
Infonet.
The Infonet?
The
Is that
database?
literally what we called it?
I don't know.
It sounds familiar.
We had a good name for it too. I'm gonna be sad now. I'm sad now because I can't remember things.
SpaceNet? I don't remember.
Welcome to my life.
God, you can't just add space to everything.
Are you
pretty sure we've been doing that
about
entire
that?
campaign.
Well, all right, you can, but
I mean, haven't you ever heard of Spacebook and all that stuff? No.
It's the CSO. It's the Cygnus State Outernet.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yes, that is what you are basically investigating. You because you are traveling between systems and you're not linked to any like major node of the CSO, you are basically functioning off of like what you have as a copy of like an image of like what was in the last database that you passed and updated.
Yeah. Like a cached version of the state of
it's
things.
Exactly that. It's a cached version of it. And you do know there will be things and updates missing from this, but you hope that something like this, which is more about history, like isn't going to be updated very often. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what you're able to find is a lot of very mundane, very nothing. It's a lot of like, went to a well-regarded tech academy after he got out of his like basic schooling. After completing the tech academy, it shows that he signed up with I think I have this down too. So he signed up with Lev Integrated Technologies.
Okay.
Lev is like a tech megacorp. Has a lot to do with like body mods and things like that. They do a lot of cyberware and for example, COMET, your subjectivity enhancement suite is probably either from LIT or is based off of like a design that LIT like spearheaded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So a lot of that stuff comes down from them.
Okay.
There is a bit of a slang out there for if you're going to get body mods, they call it getting lit because it's LIT.
That's funny.
But yeah, so he worked for Lev for a while as a ship tech on just like the most boring run-of-the-mill like transport crews, like shipping finished product from like their shipping finished product from their like one of their factories to like various marketplace areas, like various markets around the systems in the core areas. And that seems to be what he's been doing for the past like fucking like 30 years is based off of what you can find.
Anything in that information that would tell me how he came to know Ren?
No. That's the thing is the last 3 years aren't part of what the information you found.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Interesting.
I said 30 years. It's more like 20. He's about 30 years old.
Okay.
So for like the last 20 years, he's been that's the transcript you found. And then for the past 3, he's been off.
So since he was a kid, basically.
Well, yeah, because you remember you found his school records too, right?
Yeah.
So you basically, from him starting like tech school to him getting out of tech school to basically he got out of tech school, landed like a job with a megacorp and was there for like another 10, 15 years. So
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, very least, if my subjectivity enhancement suite goes haywire, he might be able to fix it for me.
you don't
At the
know.
very least.
It says he's a ship tech. You don't know how much info that gives him on body modifications, but he did work for that company.
Yeah.
He
Maybe remember something.
The people who drove the trucks for that medical waste company, I bet they know how to take out this pesky boil I have.
Hey, I mean, you never know. He might have picked something up. All right, cool. Well, that sounds good. I'll just make a note of all that.
Yeah, literally the last thing you were able to find is that he basically quit his job, right? He was going to do something else. And it's one of those things where it's it would normally have what he quit his job to go do on there, but this does not have that.
Yeah, so
it doesn't say he quit his job to, as far as the core systems are concerned, he quit his job to go be unemployed somewhere.
Yeah. And that's been the past 3 years.
That's for the last 3 years. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Anything else, Astro?
I don't think so.
All right.
Just gonna enjoy the trip.
All right then, Rock. What are you up to?
Is there anyone from my old background where we're going, that's on the way there?
Generally,
I don't know where we're going for this September guy.
Generally, there are various subgroups of that group that are in and around the fringes. You would know that in general, they're not the most well supplied group out there. They do work with people a fair amount. I mean,
okay.
if they're there, you would know how to find them, though.
Can I send out just a general message to that group?
Mm-hmm. You can, but how would I put this? Even encrypted, it's like setting a beacon. It's something you wouldn't often do unless there's an emergency. Because they do, unless they're getting together to do something larger, they do tend to split up so that they're not
Yeah.
If you find one of them, you don't find all of them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There is another group they work with regularly that if you were to find them, you could probably find the other. There is another group that you guys have worked with a couple of times over this past year called the Ruined Chain. They work with I'm just going to say the name if that's cool. The Astro Uprising. So the Ruined Chain work with them fairly frequently. The Ruined Chain are more of people who are out there in the periphery, getting things done. So they tend to be in larger groups and stuff. They do get cracked down on a fair bit more, but they also don't care. So they're a little bit more out there about that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'll send a message to someone from that we've worked with or know.
Yeah, totally.
Chain, asking for some contacts to reach around, kind of thing.
So yeah, you would know a contact from the Ruin Chain called Tunjon. That is his radio name because he's a radio DJ. And yeah, if he gets your message, he would be able to get you some more info. So what are you asking him for? So I know what he would send you back.
I'll just tell him straight up that I'm looking for jobs, high paying jobs. ... I'm hoping that somebody out of the Astro Uprising, and I would probably be saying that name kind of randomly to him, but if I thought that he knew, might have something they're looking for that I used to know them. Looking for, if not one of them, maybe some connections through them, or connections that he might have for a good job.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Totally. I can I can figure out what he would respond with. So for sure.
Okay.
And yeah, you kind of get that information out there, and you have days basically to get to your destination. It is a planet that you're headed to, so you will be going to a system and planet. You'll be going down well to get there. That appears to be where Curry September-ish is holed up right now. It is a city. Like it is one of the larger settlements in this part of the periphery. So it seems like he settled down in one of the larger population centers. But even here, like the cities here are nothing in comparison to even AO Station in terms of size.
Yeah. As we're getting closer to the planet, like Astro, would you be in the cockpit at all with me or no?
Yeah, I'd be in the cockpit watching our approach.
Well, yeah, you guys have any time over the 4 days because you're going to get responses from all the messages you sent before you get to the planet.
Oh, would we? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No, do that first.
Yeah, it's you just have to wait for the gates to open because the messages travel fast when they can travel, but traveling through dark space takes a long time. That's why doing the instant transmission type of talking is hard unless you're in the same system as each other. Once you get 2 to 3 jumps away from someone in terms of jumping from system to system, sending a message takes like 3 or 4 days, and it usually tacks on an extra couple of days for every system further away they are.
Makes sense.
Got it.
Yeah, so I mean, at some point, yeah, Rock, you would be at the cockpit, and then Comet. I mean, you generally get around the ship, so
yeah.
Is there a scene you wanted there?
No.
It's
when
more
we were
about on
getting
the
to the
approach.
planet,
It'd
be on approach.
All right, so
it wouldn't be a
we'll
question
hold
I would
off on
think
that.
about beforehand.
Yeah, we'll hold off on that for later. Then just remind me if I forget.
Sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so what do you guys do like as you guys are traveling? Is there any other things you put out there? Do you guys get together and talk about options? What do you do?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'd probably talk to Astro at some point. Just ask like, so how long have we been looking for another person?
I mean, not too long now, but I've always felt we could probably use another crew member on the ship. I don't think it's completely fair to Evelene that she has to be the person in charge of, be the mechanic for both our mechs and the ship. It's a lot of work, and she's been doing it without complaining, but I think now's the time to kind of, give her a little relief and get this ship running at peak efficiency.
Okay, phrasing first off. Second off, you don't know anything about this Curry? Like, are we gonna tell them about what we have in storage, or
so
do they have their own?
I mean, I had reached out to Ren and they responded, as you saw, and put us in touch with Curry. I don't know anything more about him, but I did do a little digging, nothing too investigative, but just kind of checking his record. Seems like pretty smart guy, so someone who's been working in as a mechanic for most of his life. Definitely, I think would know what he's doing. However, he up and quit 3 years ago, and I'm not really sure what he was doing in that time. So, could be nothing. But it does strike me as a little, I don't know, unusual.
Sure. I mean, it seems unlikely in 3 years, this late, and I don't know how old this guy was, I guess, but
He's like in his 30s now.
oh, yeah, an old man, I guess.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, so are you.
A really old man then.
So it doesn't look like he's a pilot then.
A pilot, like a Lancer pilot?
Yeah.
Not that I could see, certainly not.
Just feels like it's been a long time since we pulled them out. We really haven't, done much lately, so I was wondering if you were looking for some more backup or what your plan was here.
Well, as a group of as a Lancer team, I think we work pretty well together. Do you think we could use another member on our Lancer squad?
I scratch my head thinking about it for a moment and go, to be honest, I was more concerned about it as a liability of needing to tell more people that they even exist at the moment, but I suppose it's been long enough. What, a year now?
Well,
I mean, whatever job we take, we realize we're probably going to have to pull them out again.
I mean, a lot of people who know who I am know what I've been doing. If we're trying to keep it secret, it's not a well kept secret.
I suppose.
But
Except I don't think there's a lot of people who know who you are out here.
Yeah, true. But if they wanted to look me up, it wouldn't be hard.
Yeah, that probably happens a lot too. You're right. But let's just err on the side of caution for now. And assume that people don't go looking you up constantly.
So are you saying we shouldn't tell him about the mechs?
Well, I trust Ren, and Ren seemed unusually forceful about this, so I suppose it's fine. I mean, like I said, we're gonna probably have to pull him out this next mission, and if we're not gonna tell them about our financial situation, then yeah, it's probably fine.
We're not gonna not tell them about our financial situation. We're just not gonna volunteer that information. But
Sure.
I take your point. I don't want. I think if we're bringing on a new crew member, obviously they should probably know what we have on the ship and what we're doing. But I take your point that we shouldn't be, just sharing that information freely.
Yeah, and worst case scenario, they work for a corpro, Ren backstabbed us, and we defenestrate them out the airlock.
There you go. We throw them out the window, out the airlock. So is there a window looking into the airlock? So we defenestrate them into the airlock and then open the airlock. Is that how it works?
We have to buy a window first.
It's like one of those washer dryers where you can throw one sock in that you forgot after it's already started.
Sorry, I said it wrong. We space defenestrate.
There you go.
See, the rule works.
You just add space in front of anything.
Well, sounds good, Space Astro. I'm going to go take a space nap.
All right, I'm going to have some space food.
In the next scene, we see Astro opening a plastic package that says space food, and then underneath it says like Meatloaf edition on it.
Meatloaf, the sequel.
I can see Astro doing that as he takes like a fork to it.
Yeah.
Meatloaf, the sequel.
So we meet again.
In a world where all meatloaf has been extinct, one meatloaf seeks to roll everyone.
God, Astro, just eat.
He's been itching to direct or act for so long that it just comes out of him sometimes.
Yeah, just anything will do.
He's just mad he hasn't been able to put those movie rights we got from our escape during Manticore to use yet.
You know, it's funny. You guys have just been busy. You've been doing a lot of stuff. You haven't gotten a lot of time to write that screenplay, you know?
I'll get to it, though.
Look, after this mission, Dan will write it, because then we'll have money. We'll be comfortable.
Well, yeah, so you guys were making a lot of smaller monies over the last year. If you get, like, you know, a big job, that will give you, you know, time to, like, not run yourself ragged. So you will have more free time if you can find a job that pays well.
Maybe Evelene will start that novel she's been meaning to read.
Probably not.
So not to write, just to read.
Look, she has reasonable expectations rather than expecting that a new movie will launch her acting career back from the gutter.
Eveline's novel,
Astro,
How to Sharpen Spikes.
That doesn't sound like a novel. That sounds like a manual.
Well, it's a novel to Evelene.
Yeah.
All right. How about Evelene and or Orion? Are you guys doing anything during the trip?
I assume that Evelene and I have probably been in the mech, with the mechs, making sure that they're all up to date and trying to get rid of as much damage as possible from our previous not paid mission, so that we can be prepared for the next one.
Oh yeah, especially this is going to be a riskier mission.
It's been a lot of like not using your mechs much. So like it's probably a lot more like maintenance, making sure everything's still working.
Yeah.
Like you guys haven't really had to deploy in a long time. I mean, you guys' ship is kind of like perfectly outfitted to smuggle things, and that's a lot of the jobs you've been taking. But sometimes you dip into a few other things. So here's a fun thing. Some of the modifications you made to the ship, what does it look like going down to the mechs nowadays?
It seems a little more ragged, I would think. Like I feel like there's probably some more mismatched panels, or like obviously we had to set up a space for smuggling, so there's definitely if you've been on our ship a year ago and then visited now, you'll notice that it's oddly smaller than you recall, and it seems like one of the walls is a little pushed in. Like it was definitely further back last time you were here.
And do you guys remember what you told me that you had done to hide your mechs, though?
Yeah, I was just waiting for Chuck to say his thing and see if he caught it or not.
I actually don't remember.
We weren't pulling out the mechs or telling anyone about them for our odd jobs because we were trying to stay low, so we hid the mechs in the storage unit.
That's right. I forgot about that. I know we literally talked about this recently, but I slipped my mind.
Yeah.
So as Evelene and Dyne head down to check on the mechs and do their regular maintenance, it looks like you've lowered it. You know how you see those cargo ships that have all those long like cargo crates? You know, what's the better word for those? Shipping containers, you know, those long shipping containers across those ships. It looks like there's just a ton of them in your hold, right? You walk to one side of your hold, and there is a panel on one of the shipping containers that looks like a keypad, like, oh, this must be a secure shipping container, right? So that no one breaks into it. And Dyne steps forward, keys in a code, and then all of a sudden, a seam appears along an entire row of shipping containers that separates and pulls up, and literally like your mechs are in a hollowed out hangar area that is covered by fake shipping containers that like lift away when you put in the code for it.
I go, this idea wasn't half bad, Evelene.
Well, you know, I mean, sometimes we have good ideas.
Well, it's worked so far. Hopefully our next job will let us break the rust off the mechs.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that when this Curry guy shows up, I don't think we're going to be able to hide as much.
Well, to be fair, given that he's someone that Ren sent us, I assume that that they probably told us something. Or told them something. Probably that we're a Lancer group. Who knows? We'll find out.
I mean, I'm gonna admit probably gonna have to come clean up front because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not good at bullshitting sometimes.
Well, we'll find out. Well, I suspect that if we end up doing the job for Tor, that it's probably going to be combat related, combat heavy. Who knows what it is, but we should probably run some regular maintenance on these and make sure they're up to date.
You know, I almost, you know, it's weird to say this, but like I'm almost kind of glad it'd be a good opportunity to stretch our legs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, you know, honestly, like it's kind of dull if it's weird. Like normally you don't look for trouble, but I'm like, oh, at this point, I'm like, I kind of want at least something a little more interesting to happen, you know?
Well, as long as we're not doing a holdout on a planet trying to run from Megacorp again. But who knows? We could be doing something much worse next time.
You just jinxed us now. Come on, man. You just jinxed us.
Could be. I mean, as long as it's not an army of terraflies, that'll be happy.
Yes, we're never speaking of the terraflies again. And I'll start walking over to one of the mechs to start work.
Dyne just smiles, shrugs, and heads over to the Prometheus.
Yeah.
All right, so do you guys do anything specific while you're in the hangar, or is the scene just you guys talking on the way there?
I think... sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you go ahead.
I was thinking it'd be nice to check up on our new... the Prometheus' new passenger. That might be good.
Yeah. No, the Prometheus does have a new passenger.
So yeah, as you kind of boot up the Prometheus, the kind of ongoing project that Dyne has been slowly modifying over since before he joined the group, you do know that during the mission in the Jakafy system, he was finally starting to hit the edge of what he was able to take care of himself. So he did something about that. And Dyne, do you want to tell us what you did about that?
So Dyne decided to install an AI unit into the Prometheus to help him manage all of the systems. He just found it too difficult to try and managing the heat, managing the aiming. It was too much for him to handle at once. So using some of the resources from the black market dealer, he managed to get a hold of and install an AI unit into the Prometheus. That is named Artemis.
And funnily enough, you oddly, even though you've basically never worked with them before, you are kind of a savant when it comes to working with AI, you found. You don't know why, but like from the moment you started working on the project, it was like it's one of those rare moments in your life that's kind of exciting where you go to learn a new skill and you find out as you're learning the new skill, hey, I'm pretty good at this, aren't I? So yeah, as you've been kind of updating the Prometheus over this last year, you've been working with Artemis, the new AI and passenger, who has been taking a lot of that workload off of your plate.
Which has been very helpful. It's sped up the updates that Dyne has added to the Prometheus a lot, with her helping in the background and with the direct recommendations and all of that.
Mm. And kind of as you approach and kind of like ready and open the cockpit, kind of immediately right there, like a projection appears on one of these screens of the Prometheus, and it is kind of a like a technically rendered face that looks like it's made out of like vector graphics, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the very like clean lines, not a lot of detail, a lot of like smooth lines, but it is very obviously a face, and it almost looks like almost kind of like face paint is the shape of the face, because it's not like a full human face, right? It's like, imagine someone drawing face paint onto their face to go hunting, but that's all there is to the face, is just the face paint. And that's kind of the image that appears on the screen. And then as you guys approach, you just hear, "Oh, come down to see what's going on, I see, finally."
Yeah, well, we're reaching out some feelers to try and get some new jobs. Hopefully we'll be able to give you some proper testing and some action out in the field.
It'll be too long already if we get out today. How long has it been since I stretched my legs?
Probably weeks.
It's been 270 days.
That is a few weeks. That is indeed.
Wait, I can do this math. That's at least 40 weeks right there.
Says Evelene from the bottom. Says she can hear our conversation.
I assume that I'd come up also. Sorry.
Even the last few times.
I just imagine you hear 40 weeks from distance.
Yeah. Even the last few times we've gone out, you haven't really let me loose.
Well, assuming I reached out to Tar, I just assume that any mission that he sends us is probably going to be pretty heavy on the combat, for better or for worse. Trust me, we're going to be seeing some action soon.
Oh, that's good. Anyway, I have kept everything up to date. I have been monitoring all the system input and output while you were gone. Do you want to see a printout?
Sure. And if you wouldn't mind,
that appears on screen.
Compile that. I'm going to send the current system specs to Dion to keep him up to date with what we've been changing.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. You guys are the only ones I ever see anymore.
Oh, you mean me and Evelene?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Torsay is busy trying to keep the ship afloat. Rock is busy piloting and keeping the ship on course. And Astro is being Astro.
There is a space of non-response that over the year you've gotten to know her, Orion, and because you're a technophile, you pick up that is kind of basically like her equivalent of like shrugging, because she doesn't really care.
Yeah.
She also doesn't have shoulders.
Yeah.
I just don't like that the technology asks to get let loose.
Yeah, she does that basically, she does that basically any time he talks about combat.
What can I say? I installed her to help me manage a weapon system. She wants to be let loose and fire a big ass gun.
It's purpose-made technology.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what? So computers compute. What if the computers wanted to compute? I've took that same reasoning and applied it to a gun. Are you sure that was the right thing to do? I don't know.
Think of it this way. At least this AI is still shackled.
For now.
It's like we've created this object. All it does is scream in horrible agony. But why?
We don't know.
I don't know. We had the funding.
I think at some point, since obviously Evelene wasn't there at the time, I think she eventually would climb up to check up on Artemis.
Ah, Evelene, it's good to see you.
Oh, hello, little Artemis. How have you been today?
I think I'm quite a bit larger than you are.
Look. Let me have this, okay? As far as I'm concerned, you're right here, and I'll just motion to the projection. And in that respect, I am bigger than you.
All of the screens start filling with Artemis's face at the same time.
Okay, now you're just showing off.
I believe I now occupy more surface area than you do.
Dyne, your AI is a smartass.
What can I say? You taught her well.
All of the screens blink out to just the one that is active again. Well, I'm ready to go when you're ready.
Well, as soon as I hear back from Tor and we figure out which one we're going to go, or which route we're going to go, I'll let you know. It will be soon, though.
Yeah, one way or another, we're going to be fighting something.
Have you thought about
either
getting
debt or mechs?
Have you thought about getting another mech?
Do we even
Another mech, like a fifth member of our Lancer group?
Well, I mean, maybe you should pilot it.
You mean so you can pilot this one on your own and let me pilot the other one?
There's just like a bit of silence.
Maybe we'll start baby steps. Let's start working together, and then maybe if things go well, maybe we'll have the money. Maybe we'll have the money for another mech, and then like Evan looks at that, like gives them Dyne the look of like, you know how a parent will tell a lie just to shut the kid, believe it, like that kind of look, like okay, let's run with it.
Dyne will shrug and say, that is a possibility for the future. Right now, we can't afford a new mech.
So during that white lie, now I know Astro has seen 2001 A Space right? You know those scenes where they're talking in the other room and it just zooms in on Hal's eye to be like, he's watching. That I imagine that same kind of camera shot happens now while Evelene thinks she's effectively lying to this AI.
Yep, you got it on the nose.
Later, open the pod bay doors, Artemis.
I can't do that.
I can't do that, Dyne.
Yeah.
You're right. You're gonna have to wait till I get to Technophile rank 3.
Yeah.
Then Artemis can leave the mech.
Artemis already likes you two enough to joke with you in her own way, and you guys have gotten used to her over this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are able to finish up your maintenance, starting with the Prometheus and moving on to the other mechs. Especially since a common thing that you have to do for the Prometheus there is basically start charging its cannon to make sure that it doesn't have like runaway heat issues. So you basically like let it charge, and then while you are doing other things, you just let Artemis basically monitor that, and then she just keeps you updated on how that's going over the course of like while you're doing other maintenance.
Yep.
You guys finish up, and by the time you finish up with your maintenance, the Prometheus is steaming only a little bit, you
no holes in the ship,
no misfires, and you guys you head back upstairs.
And then to end, what I would do like at the end of the day, I would like compile the data that Artemis gave me and send an encrypted message out to Dion, just with everything that's
and just as a reminder, Dion is the your contact who has helped you basically build the Prometheus. It is from his plans that you're kind of working on this. So you're still collaborating with him over this time as well.
He just hasn't made a physical visit.
Over this time, the first person, because they are the closest, that responds to the message they've received is actually Tar.
Okay.
So Dyne, as you head back to your personal terminal at the end of the second day, you will notice a message for you that comes from Tar. It's all in text, as is usual for him.
Yep.
It essentially reads out that he's taken into account your report that the client basically skimped on payment. He basically took a report from you as to like what you did, what the job was, what you accomplished, what you agreed to do, and like what you should have gotten paid and didn't, right? It's like he keeps track of those things. Some people that you've met via Tar in the time that you've been working over this last year actually kind of talk about this weird habit that Tar has. It's almost like he's keeping a vendetta book, where basically anyone who's acted against what he's decided is like the code for proper work out here, he basically just keeps like a record of what they did, when, and why. But yeah, you know that he's noted the information you gave him. And he does have some possible leads for you. He says basically that you've proven yourself over the past year, and you've gotten in on the ground floor with most of the groups that are in this sector. That really, if you're ready to take on more dangerous jobs, he knows for a fact that the Affiliation and the Free Space Pact are both looking for like movers and shakers to do some larger things right now to kind of shake things up.
It was the Free Space Pact, and what was the other one?
The other one's called, that's the pirate group I told you about before. The other one is the Affiliation. They are, if I had to really condense it down, I would call them a crime family. They operate very much like a crime family. They're very much about loyalty, like working your way up through the ranks, like complete like dedication to each other in the Affiliation, but it is not familial based. So whereas things like the Mafia and stuff like that, there's a heavy like family basis to like who gets in when, people's sons, and a lot of like, you know, that kind of stuff. Instead, the way the Affiliation works is like when you join, you are a member of the Affiliation, and all the people you care about are also now members of the Affiliation. It's kind of like an all or nothing thing. So it is a family of sorts, but made of a bunch of different families that are basically all pulled in by working for them. So like it's not like the lead of the Affiliation's son is like the second in command or something like that. They're all also part of it as part of him being part of it. You know what I mean? But his second in command, like all of his family is taken care of too. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they're kind of like what you would expect. They do a lot of contraband movement. They do a lot of like organized crime, protection, and you would jump to think, and I would agree with you, that it's not just protection rackets. They do actually provide real protection out here as well, because in the outer periphery, when there are, you know, groups that are like farmers or colonists on very small, very low populated planets that are mostly self-sustaining, but if something unexpected happens, maybe can't defend themselves entirely, the Affiliation will step in to help them. Now, that does also mean most of the people under their care have to pay a stipend for that protection. There is a bit of like murkiness and weirdness to it. And you've met just as many people who hate the Affiliation for the fees they have to pay to them as people who owe their lives to the Affiliation for having saved their community. So it is kind of like a mixed bag with them as to like what people think about them.
Right. Makes sense.
And then the other group is the Free Space Pact. Like I said before, it's a loose affiliation. So it depends on what crew you'd be taking a job for. There are like small fleets, crews, and alliances that rise and fall in the Free Space Pact. And the big thing about them is that for them, it's all about notoriety and infamy. That's what helps you rise and gain respect in their organization. A long time ago, you guys did a mission that was basically protecting a cargo shipment, and you fought some pirates called Smack during that mission. They were a member of the Free Space Pact. They still hate you, but they are a small member of that pact. They're not like a large group in that pact, but they are one of the contingent members. Now, them hating you doesn't mean other people in the Free Space Pact won't work with you. It just means that, you know, watch how you're affecting their alliance, basically.
Right. That makes sense. Okay.
So those are the two groups that Tar knows that he can get you contact with if you're looking for a specifically dangerous and well-paying job. But it would require, and you guys know this, working smuggling and small jobs hasn't really shifted power in the area. I will tell you that a well-equipped Lancer group working for one of these groups can shift power in this region in significant ways, such that working for one group might gain you reputation with them and lose you reputation with another group if whatever you're doing is hurting that other group's hold on this area. So keep in mind, like, if you're not just like moving items around for people, but you're running like full Lancer operations for any of these groups, like that will start to like raise and lower your evaluation with all the other groups.
Right. No, that makes sense. Okay. We'll keep that in mind as I probably head off to tell the others about the job opportunity, the potential opportunities that we have.
Yeah. And as Dyne comes to you all with this information, do you guys talk about it, or do you need more information about any of this?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, like, I'll ask Dyne, like, what kind of, like, give me an example of a job we would do.
Well, it really depends on which one we go with. With the affiliation, we could end up being on a protection duty, or we could end up doing more smuggling. But given that we're looking for a higher paying job, it's more likely that they'll make use of our ability as a full-on Lancer team. What that could entail, I'm not sure, but it could potentially either be protection and or, well, I wouldn't use the word assault, but
it feels
offensive
like
action.
It kind of feels like we'd be working for the Mafia.
The Space Mafia?
Yes, the Space Mafia.
You know, I had a hard time not just writing Space Mafia on this piece of paper, because obviously we just call them Space Everything.
The Mafia, if you will.
Well, the difference.
How dare you? How dare you portmanteau this? Get out of here, I say, sir. Good day.
See you guys. I'm out.
The ship just tells you to jump out an airlock.
It defenestrates. It space defenestrates him out the airlock.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I mean,
what were you gonna say, Dyne?
You aren't entirely wrong. The difference being that out here they protect as much as they harm, at least with those associated with them. There are definitely some people who hate them, and definitely some people who enjoy having their protection around. No one likes paying the fee, but I guess living is better than, well, being attacked by the other groups that are out here.
So it's like a union.
If by crime union, then you'd be correct.
That is Evelyn saying that, not me, by the way.
Yes. No, that's what I reply to Evelyn.
What's a crime union word?
It's like a mafia.
Huh.
And we've come full circle.
I bow. We walk off the stage. The next comedy group comes up.
As you dodge tomatoes being thrown at you.
The second group was the Free Space Pact, which you guys may remember as one of the. They're basically pirates, and we fought one of their crews. Now, that was part of our escort mission, that first escort mission that led us. We kind of got shorted on.
Yep,
but,
I remember that.
The thing with the Free Space Pact is that it's a bunch of pirate crews that all work together. Now, I'm sure that the original crew that we fought still hates us, but that does not necessarily mean that whomever we sign up with and work with will turn us down just because of that.
Well, if movies have taught me anything, it's that there are a lot of pirates that are, have a heart of gold and are just there for the swashbuckling adventure.
Unfortunately for everyone, Astro's suspicion was like, what's that thing? The exception to prove the rule. The one contact you know with the Free Space Pact is basically like a swashbuckling adventurer who has a heart of gold. It just so happened that is the person you know from the pirate group, but COMET gets along with them very well.
That's great.
Well, Astro, I mean, I'm sure there are those out there that fit that description. Most of the people from the Space Pact are probably not like that. However, that being said, these are people that Tor has relationships with, which means that if we accept the job, they will pay us. Otherwise, that's not going to end up very well for their reputation within the sector.
Okay, two things. First of all, Tor's kind of scary. I didn't realize they were as entwined with the criminal side of things.
I mean, you aren't wrong. When you work out here, I feel like it's a kind of unavoidable thing, especially when you kind of have a reputation as large as his.
Fair enough. Secondly, we get like cut in pay a lot. You guys notice that?
Yeah.
Do you think it's because Astro's the one negotiating, and they think that they can get away with it?
Excuse me?
I feel like, no offense, Astro, I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I don't think you're a good negotiator.
Well, can you blame me? I mean,
nice.
I mean this in the nicest way I can possibly say this. You're kind of shit. But only in the nicest way I can say it.
I don't know how to think of that nicely.
You kind of don't have any talents, and you're not good at anything, and you're really just a useless waste of space. But I mean, no offense.
Hey, you pay the bills.
But you give us money,
doesn't.
so
We're
we'll
going
keep
in the
you
hole.
around.
I'm just saying, maybe it might be good to have Torsay involved in those meetings.
I mean,
I think that's a smart thing.
I wouldn't be against that. I mean, after all, most of my life, my agent has done the contract negotiation.
I can see that. Well, I suppose on the bright side, I did inform Tor of our recent client not paying us, so whatever little black book he has, they've been added. I'm sure they're going to appreciate that if we hear from them in the future.
Well then, sounds like your lead is at least a sure thing as far as payment is concerned.
Payment? Yes. We just don't know what possible job we could get. I'll have to send a message back to Tor if we decide to go this route. Have you guys heard back from your contacts yet?
Not yet, but I mean, Nora has variable degrees of responsiveness. Depends on what she's got going on at the time.
Let's give it some time. I like that as a plan B option for at the moment.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from everyone's contacts, and then we can make a decision as a group.
Well, we might not hear from everyone.
True.
Well, I feel that we're going to have to make a decision probably by the time that we pick up our new person. I feel like by then we need to make a decision on where we're going to go, because we only have limited resources.
Fair enough. That'll be our deadline then.
Alrighty. Dyne, after they dismiss, Dyne just heads off to the kitchen to make a sandwich, because he's hungry now.
What kind of sandwich?
Not tuna.
Good. I would have some words. Don't touch my tuna.
Dyne is worried about the tuna that's been here for a year.
Look, tuna has a very long shelf life. At least I'm pretty sure it does.
I thought we clarified it wasn't tuna.
It's like
Okay.
It's like a mushroom tuna or
it's
something.
TUNA. It's some sort of acronym.
God, don't set me up. Now I'm going to be spending the rest of the recording trying to figure out what that acronym is.
Ha! Gotcha. You've fallen into my mind trap.
And I think that's it.
Yeah. What were you saying, Rock? You said like secondly, and then.
Yeah, I did that. That was Astro's horrible and shouldn't be involved in anything.
Okay. Well, now that we're all up to date, so actually, Rock, you are the second person to get their response.
Not very good.
As you check your personal terminal, you can tell it is from the Ruin Chain because it comes into your message box basically as an advertisement for like a radio subscription. You open it up and it's one of those basically like, imagine like nowadays like constant badgering you to update your satellite radio subscription type style advertisements, but this is like subscribing to a specific like radio station. And it is Ton John's basically channel that it's an advertisement for. In the email, you're able to pretty quickly find what you need to click on in order to open up the real response. And what you get is actually a recorded response from Ton John. Ton John is a portly man who's quite jovial. He is close shaven, but he does have a beard and mustache, and he has kind of like not entirely short cropped hair, but he has kind of the weird swirl at the front. You know, the weird, like the hero cut style haircut, you know, that like Superman and shit wear, where it like weirdly curls at the front.
Widow's Peak?
Yeah, kind of like that, but it has like, it like comes up and turns around a little bit as it goes back. Okay. And it's him on the line, and he says, "Hey, I saw you reached out to me, and I thought I'd get back to you. Yeah, I mean, if there's new players in the field, we like to make use of them, don't we? Sure, I can get you in touch with who I know. You know, the chain has a few jobs that I think we've been looking to take care of for a little while now, and having a little bit more muscle would make some things happen. Sometimes you need to shake things up, you know? So, I mean, if that's what you're looking for, get back to me and I'll give you the details. If you want, I can also see what I can pull up about them Asters. As far as I'm aware, their influence in the region is hard to contact, but that's nothing out of my speciality. I think they actually contacted us a little while ago. I can see what that was about. Maybe you want to go help. Are you the type of person who likes to ride to people's rescue? Because that's probably what you're in for. But if you want to get paid, come work for us. Hope to hear your response." And then that is when the recording cuts off.
So we are limited to the gate time-wise. Is the gate still open right now to respond?
So what happens is if they're a few systems away, what it does is the message travels gate to gate until it hits a closed gate, and then it stops at that gate until the next gate opens, and then it'll travel gate to gate until it hits another closed one. So basically that means that there's kind of like a what's the word? Kind of like a degree of error when calculating like how fast a message will get to someone. It depends on like what the scheduling is. If you were to sit down and do the math, you could figure out exactly how long a message would take to get to someone if you cross-referenced all the gate opening and closing timings between you and them. But basically it equates to if they're in system, obviously you can just get the message to them. If they're in the next system over, you can have basically real-time conversation with them for as long as the gate is open. And then for every 2 or 3 systems out from the next system over, it adds another day or 2 on to the travel time of your message.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let everyone know then what I got. I'll probably leave the part out. With the Astro uprising.
Okay. So what Rock tells the rest of you is mostly about the Ruin Chain having some jobs that they've not been able to do anything about for a while, but if they have some new muscle, they might be able to make things happen. So just for all of your collective knowledge, you've only worked with the Ruin Chain a few times. They can be a little bit hard to work with because they're basically just a large dissenter group. They're ideologically based, and basically they just want to upset the system and be as ungovernable as possible. They do a lot of good work for getting people out of bad situations and kind of like tearing down systems that kind of like fuck people over. But they are also very disseminated and have trouble consolidating any large efforts to get like single large objectives completed. You've run supplies for them quite a few times. That tends to be a thing they need pretty often.
They've always paid us too, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Any of these larger groups we're talking about, they would never not pay you.
Okay.
Are they frequently at odds with the megacorps?
The Ruin Chain, a lot of these groups have kind of like a take it or leave it, but mostly leave it with the megacorps. The Ruin Chain is the one that is the most openly antagonistic against the megacorporations. If the megacorps were out here, they would have crushed them by now. They are specifically the type of group that megacorps don't allow to exist in the core.
Makes sense.
So we could, by stepping up our game with them, we could put ourselves back on the radar for some of these megacorps, and that would not be a good thing.
Just because they hate the megacorps doesn't mean that's what they're going to ask us to do.
Yeah, I mean, I would think we'd at least want to hear what they got. I mean, it may not be, pissing off more megacorps.
The thing you have to keep in mind, Astro, is that they're only openly antagonistic to them if they have presence out here, which they don't have much, at least as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, that's one good thing about being on the fringes. Can't be bothered with stuff like this.
Well, we can at least hear it out. Have you heard back from your contact, Astro? Not Astro, I'm Evelene.
Yeah, I didn't reach out to anyone.
Yeah.
Although I could reach out to the CDD, but I wanted to hear what you guys came up with.
No, not yet. I'm still waiting for Nora. Taking a little bit of time now.
Oh well, she's probably drunk and passed out.
Hey.
You know I'm right.
I take offense to that, even if you are right.
Why do you take offense to it?
In the response, Evelene gets, "Sorry, I didn't get back to you. I was drunk and passed out." Anyway.
All right. Well, I'm all for waiting for the last contact, but I'm going to send a message back to him, just asking for what he's got, or if there's a meetup or something he wants to set up.
Sounds good.
And I go and do that.
All right. Shortly after, Evelene, you do get a response from Honora. Honora Kaelbon basically sends you an email, right? It is just the most normal looking ass email you've ever seen, like you would get today.
Even a lot of normal ass emails.
Yeah,
is this normal for her, or is it
this is how she always contacts people?
Yeah, it
even has her like company's auto signature populated at the bottom, where it like has like their address, what planet they're on, like their hours of operation and shit like that. It's like automatically marked on the bottom of her message.
May I also mark that she's also a black market dealer?
It does. Actually,
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Does the message start with, "I hope this message finds you well"?
No. It actually starts. "Hey, Evelene, you old bat. Good to hear from you. I do have some jobs for you. I'd have to get in touch with them if you want me to reach out. Some of my common clients include Cloak and Periapsis. So if you want to work for them, let me know. I know the right people to talk to. Now, I know they can be a little bit standoffish, but they have really good money, and they always tip me when I do a good job, if you know what I mean. By that, I mean they give me alcohol as a bonus. It says that
Just
in parentheses
know.
on the next line. Yeah. Anyway, get back to me when you can. And is it possible I can upsell you on some new thrusters for your ship? Just let me know. And then it says Honora Kailbon at the bottom.
I gotta admit that I really like the idea of a black market dealer having official business cards and everything.
Yeah, man.
Why
No
not?
one out here cares. They're all like, oh, that's who I should go to for my black market parts.
Look, it's all about the image.
Yeah.
What was that organization? Was Cloak and what?
So the two organizations that she can give you contact to are Periapsis and Cloak.
Oh, they're two different ones. Okay.
Yes.
Any details on who they are,
Yeah,
or is that literally all we know?
So you would all know Periapsis as the closest organization out here to the affiliation in terms of scope and scale and like what they operate in, but they are direct competitors with affiliation for those same markets. They operate more like a business. It's merit-based. Basically, you rise the more you make for the group, and you fall if you lose money for the group. Think kind of like how Blofeld runs Spectre in the James Bond movies. That's kind of what Periapsis is like. The people who do really good for the company make boatloads of money and get to run big projects. If you lose a lot of money for the organization, you fall all the way back down to that bottom rung, and they will take everything from you. They're very generous with the people they contract with, though, because if you do a professional job for them, that's what they care about. They care about professionalism, and they care about like getting things done as efficiently and effectively as possible. And they're willing to pay out the butt to get that accomplished. The other group, Cloak, is kind of like a shadow guild. They're basically like... They're like a darknet group that is basically services to the highest bidder. They're people who do assassination, direct targeted harm and disruption, info jobs, things like that. Basically, they handle a lot of the more unsavory jobs in the Outer Rim. You guys have not interacted with them much. They're probably the group that you know the least about in this outer area, but everyone talks about them a little bit like they're boogeymen, because everyone knows they deal in kind of the worst of the things out here. But again, they pay really well if you can do something valuable for them.
I hear that in order to join them, though, you have to kill someone randomly, and they visit you at night.
and you must be wearing a cloak at all times.
They just tell they just all say we know.
So yeah, I'll pass this information along to, like, I don't know, we'll have another meeting, I guess, and I'll sort of say what Honora has sent us. Personally, though, like, I know that we definitely slipped into some more shady dealings, but like Evelene has made it clear up front that she's not 100% comfortable with like some really dirty stuff. Like she would not feel comfortable with an assassination job unless we really needed the money, which I'm not sure we're there yet.
Well, hold on now. Depends on who we're assassinating, right? I mean, that really needs to be brought into full.
I don't really know enough
yeah.
about Cloak to make an informed decision. But Periapsis does pay well.
Yeah, Periapsis I can get behind. I mean, like, unless the guys are a real bastard, I'm not sure I'd take a job from Cloak.
So at this point, are we talking?
Job.
Did you tell us then? Are we talking about the job?
I assume we switched the first person. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually been thinking about it a little bit. I think it might be best to go with the DJ. And I just call him that. listen, his group is the type that seems to talk, right? Especially with the groups now that we're trying to get more jobs from. If we do a good job with them, it might mean better jobs later, once, people hear about us.
Word of mouth is good.
Let's imagine Torsay is here. Because I want to have a voice in the conversation.
No girls allowed.
All
right, get out of here, Evelene.
Yeah,
Screw you guys. I'm blowing up the mechs.
Also, the AI is not allowed here. You didn't bring the AI, right, Orion?
No, the AI can't leave the mech yet.
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 Are you all happy that he
scary.
said yet? That's not frightening.
Everyone's working on a patch from the mech directly to the meeting room. When it happens, watch out.
But anyway, Torsay goes, okay, well, that's basically everyone. There's the Affiliation, the Free Space Pact, Sid, Periapsis, the Ruined Chain, and Cloak. I mean, they're all the big movers and shakers. Whoever we work for, we're probably going to be doing something to help them and hurt someone else, because that's how they work. So we should take that into account, too.
Well, I feel like I should mention Periapsis and Affiliation are two of the biggest groups out here. So if we help one of them, it's very likely going to hurt our chances of getting jobs from the other. Not that that's something that we always need to worry about, but it's definitely something to consider.
God, I'd hate to burn bridges early on.
But regardless of whoever we end up working for, these groups are all big enough that they will pay us, and we will probably make a name one way or the other. But I do agree. I think the Ruined Chain is probably our best bet right now. I'm kind of iffy on Cloak, and I'm not really sure that I want to work with the pirates, given that while we probably won't work with the group that hates us, I'd rather not have a potential target on our back.
So the Free Space Pact is an interesting one, because depending on which crews you work for, you could increase an estimation of some of them while decreasing an estimation of another. Like, they actually have infighting a lot too over territory. So it is possible they'll give you missions for one crew or pirate fleet to expand their territory at the expense of one of the other pirate fleets. So they're considered a single group in terms of like large powers in the periphery, but also there's a fair amount of like interfactional relationships with them as well.
Right. And then that's part of the reason why Dyne's kind of iffy. He's like, I know we'll get paid if we finish the job, but it's hard to side with a group that could there's too much infighting, it's too much chaos.
Yeah, it could turn complicated for sure.
I mean, our last mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could use less complications.
Torsay kind of like crosses her arms and says, I mean, I guess that's an option too. I mean, if we're really in a bind, we can always reach out to some of the people we knew from before this last year and see if any of them have anything, but that'll probably mean going a distance. I mean, even if we contact the Cane Vagrants, they tend to work more for the inners, and who knows what the Noblesse would have us do. So
I was just wondering, have we in the past, like since that mission, have we heard anything else from the Noblesse affair?
You've not talked to them except for when they transferred you all the money you were owed.
Yeah.
So they did convert all of the raw material into cash, and then on behalf of the settlers sent you payment. And that actually set you guys off well at the beginning. That's why you were able to upgrade your ship, set up for smuggling, and basically get a life for yourselves set up out here. But you've been steadily losing money slowly over the last year. It's just like you've been spending money slightly faster than you've been gaining it, but you did make a ton of money from that one job from them. But they have not contacted you since then, and they are talked of only in whispers, and a lot of times in the type of conspiratorial whispers where you can tell they're talking about the Noblesse because they'll describe something like how one of their ships looks. But people will respond to that person like we talk about people who see UFOs.
Yeah.
So like it is not
Like crackpots.
Yeah, it is not a well circulated, they're not a well-known organization. Like it is known that if you look them up on the CSO, there is a group called the Noblesse Affair, and they are a mercenary corporation. But like all the other stories that circulate about them aren't even always attributed to them. They're just like, oh, I saw this weird thing happen. Who were they? I don't know. But you guys are able to be like, that's probably them. I wonder what they're up to. But like, it does not seem on the whole people know much more than that.
They did leave us like a way of contacting them if we needed to, right?
Yeah, basically it was like if absolutely necessary, I can give you a direct line to me. And that's what he gave you at the end of that mission.
No one knows until the release of Astro's new blockbuster.
Yeah, once someone picks up my screenplay, that's 2 pages of text. My screenplay, I said.
Noblesse alert.
Oh, there you go. I like it.
You see him take out his 2 pages, cross off whatever was on the front, and rewrite that.
Oh, I gotta change one line in the movie too, where they say that.
Yeah.
You know, the one where you elbow your friend and be like, they said the name.
It's some kind of Noblesse alert. What are you guys on some kind of Star Trek?
Oh, jeez.
If Astro ever made a movie, God knows he would be doing that. Gotta have the line.
Gotta have the line in the movie. And Astro has to say it too. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know about contacting the Noblesse Affair. I feel like they're very much in control, and if we just like call them and say, we want a job, please, they probably will say, we will reach out to you if we need you.
Well, since there's no guarantee that their job will be in system.
Yeah, it's just too many unknowns. Since we have other options here.
So it sounds like
those other options.
Yeah, it sounds like the ones we're most interested are the, like Rock said, we can reach out to the Ruin Chain, or Periapsis. It seems like those were the ones that we were most interested in. She like looks around for confirmation.
The Broken Chain, they're the ones that are like the ideologues, right?
That's correct.
I mean, one good thing about working with them is, you know, maybe if they're all idealistic, we could be helping some people and not, you know, just doing something purely transactional and
look, we can
mercenary.
Let them know up front what we're okay and not okay doing.
That's true too. But you know, like Torsi said, whatever we pick, we're probably going to piss someone off. So I'd rather side with the Robin Hoods of the galaxy.
Well, yeah, and Ruin Chain being what they are, I'm guessing if we're going to be pissing someone off, it's not going to be someone necessarily in system, but
it's probably someone we pissed off already.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be lucky and end up meeting our previous contact. Our previous people who gave us the previous job. You never know.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Man, I really hope we never see Manticorp again.
What was his name? John Smith?
Yes, you took a deal from a man named John Smith. That is correct. The most normal, average-looking man you've ever seen.
They just like made him in a factory.
Yeah, it looks like if someone could have been hired on the I've forgotten what he looks like already criteria, it would have been him.
Well, and what was the other what's the other one?
Periapsis.
I forget how to pronounce it.
It's periapsis. Just so you know where the name comes from, that is when two orbital bodies are at the closest part of their orbit from each other.
Oh, neat.
There's the apoapsis and the periapsis. The apoapsis is when the two orbital bodies are the farthest from each other.
So what's their deal again, guys?
They're a crime family, basically. They're
less family and more like a business of crime. They make a business of crime. That's what they. Yep. That I think if they had a slogan, that would be it. Torsay like looks up and to the left at like a random, ceiling panel as she's thinking about it.
I imagine that we would probably get a similar style of job from the affiliation. The difference just being how each organization handles their own people.
So basically, we're choosing between the Mafia and Robin Hood's Merry Men.
That's assuming how merry they are.
Probably not very.
Robin Hood and his not so merry men. Well,
I like the Broken Chain myself.
Ruined Chain.
Ruined Chain.
Oh, Ruined Chain.
Yeah,
I thought they were named after the Fleetwood Mac song.
No.
Quietly Bob in the background is like writing this down, like, write that down.
Well, go ahead and reach out to your contact, Rox, see what kind of jobs they have for us.
I already did.
Oh. Well, then we're already ahead.
You mean you have specifics?
No, I just reached out to him. It's going to take a few days. I'm not expecting.
Oh, okay.
I guess in the meantime, we can sit and wait while we wait to pick up our new ship tech.
Pizza party?
Do I have the ingredients to make pizza on the ship?
I mean, it depends on how creative you want to be with the word pizza.
I mean, you have tuna for toppings.
No.
Let's just say you don't have anything approximating something like tomato sauce or cheese left on the ship.
Okay. In that case,
so if you want to make a flat baked dough that has tuna on it,
then in that case, no, we're gonna have to save the pizza party for when we've been paid.
Guys, I think our next venture should be starting a space pizza delivery service.
Ever since you all came back from that mission, you've been talking about pizza parties for a year.
You think they would die out after the...
we haven't let up.
We had a pizza party after the mission to celebrate. It was delicious. Do you not remember?
I remember. I remember it's so good that I wanted another one.
Pizza was kind of greasy.
The greasier it is, the better.
Hey, I can only work with the ingredients that I have.
Hey, I wasn't complaining. You have good pizza when in the middle you have a pool of grease just lying there. Smacks his lips.
Eveline's just ignoring this entire conversation because she's so sick of talking about pizza parties.
God, he probably eats deep crust or deep dish. I mean,
Whoa.
Oh, do we have pizza affiliation differences on the ship?
This causes the team to break up over pizza.
I think Astro's a New York pizza kind of guy.
Is he?
I mean, Eveline's definitely a thin crust. I just my gut says that she is.
Dyne is just like, it's pizza. I'll eat it. Sure.
I mean, it sounds to me, Astro, like he's more a fan of a Vinnie pie.
Yeah, that's true.
Basically,
yeah, with
just
a pool
like
of grease and everything.
If taking the pizza home means that the pizza's in danger of leaking through the box.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Good point.
All right, so you all kind of break off after discussing what's going on. Rock, having already taken initiative to reach out to Tunjon in order to get more information about the jobs, you actually expect to maybe hear back from him in the next couple of days, perhaps even when you get to the planet. So you continue on, and as you're coming up on the planet, you come to the Jessis system. The largest and most populous planet in the system is also just called Jessis. It's Jessis. And that is where you are meeting your ship tech. As you approach the planet, I believe, Rock, you're up kind of in the cockpit of the ship, and I believe you wanted to talk to Astro when he comes in.
Yeah. As we make our approach, I'll eventually come into the cockpit to watch.
Sure did.
What? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Hi.
Hey there, Mr. Pilot.
This is the planet we're coming in on. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, you remember you told me you wanted to have a conversation with us?
I remember
Okay.
I wanted to have the conversation. I couldn't remember what it was.
Okay, yeah, I get it. I'm sorry.
I had a moment, all right?
I get
those. Yeah, as we're going down the planet, I'm going to be going, do you have instructions on how to find this guy? Or are we just going to hold out a sign saying, new crew member here?
Well, Ren gave us some details in the data stream. Did that include a way of contacting him?
I mean, obviously Torsay is here, especially if you're approaching the planet. She's on the ones and twos, basically.
Yep.
She says, well, yeah, I mean, we were given an address to contact them at. I don't know if that's a residential address or if that's the business they work at. We're just going to have to find out when we get there, I guess.
All right, so an in-person meeting then.
I didn't find it odd until now. There is no contact information for them here except for the address.
Yeah, it is strange,
right.
and they've been off the grid for. He's been off the grid for the past 3 years, so I wonder what he's been up to.
All right.
All right,
entering orbit.
Take her in, sailor.
Seatbelts on.
And
Only
everyone,
an address. Let's land on the house.
yeah, everyone gets into ship positions as you come down on planet Jessis. You land in the spaceport of the city, run very much like an. I almost called it. That is what it's called. It's called an airport, isn't it? I've discovered, I'm doing science here, guys. If you say spaceport enough times and then try to say airport, you go, oh, the word port is in that word, isn't it? Am I sure that's the right word I want to use?
No, it's air.
It's a miracle of science that we don't ride around in space planes.
That's kind of the joke. It's like we have a thing already for boats. It's called a port, okay? That's where boats dock. Okay, we invented this new thing called planes. All right, where do planes come from? The air. Well, it's the airport now. Now we're in space, and we have spaceships that land at space ports. Yeah, print it. That's fine. Let's do that.
Yeah. And when we invent time travel...
Time ports.
Time ports. Ooh, that's cool.
when we travel back and forth from the micro realm, we'll have designated like regrowing stations that are just called like growth ports or something.
What is wrong with you?
I like this.
Growth ports?
Yeah, you know, when you
This
come
is-
back from the quantum realm, obviously.
No, I don't like the way growth ports sound.
Yeah, it's bad. Welcome to the
This is good.
future.
This is good material for Astro's next movies. I think.
It is. These are all going to be featured heavily in the next
Yeah.
few movies he writes. And with that, you guys landing on the planet and figuring out where to go next, that is where we are going to stop part 1 of our session tonight. And we will pick up in the second part of the session with you guys exploring the city, meeting your contact here, and perhaps finding out some more about what your next mission is going to be.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later, everyone. Bye-bye.
Later.
See ya.
I
All right. Let's call
It
that
would have
one.
cost
there.
you nothing to have ended this before you said growth port. It
But
would have
I
cost you
did-
exactly nothing.
But
my,
I
my brain
gained
just broke at that point.
everything.
I was like, I have nothing more to contribute at this point. No.
But the value.
The value.
This has to go in the recording. Like, we say goodbye and this conversation is included.
I think like that it needs to even become canon in this universe. Like we're gonna take a job with the Noblesse Affair, and they're like, okay, meet us at this growth port.
Even just saying it out loud makes me feel uncomfortable.